Hi, and welcome to InSights, the series powered by Digicel Foundation. I am Terri-Karelle, and I am a proud partner of this project. Currently, I'm at the Salvation Army School for the Blind, and I am with the incomparable Mr. Sir Harvey, Guidance Counsellor, right here at Salvation Army School for the Blind. How are you, sir?
Can't complain at all. Extremely grateful for being here.
I'm so happy to have you. We were speaking off air, and you said that this was a timely response in terms of the insights, the program, what it's about. Explain to the viewers why you think it is timely.
It is timely for many reasons. Timely in the sense that, of course, in the second Thursday of each October, Sight Awareness Week is celebrated globally, right? It is also timely because the Salvation Army School for the Blind, which is the only school of its kind dedicated to the education of blind and visually impaired children, right? There is every need for our parents across the island to be aware of what the school offer, right? What opportunity is here for their children because of the thousands of children who are currently enrolled in educational institutions and are not being catered to, even though they continue to struggle with visual impairment. It's also timely because of what the project is about in terms of ensuring that students are afforded Braille machine, which really represents the pen and pencil of our students. It's the main source of literacy as well.
No, I absolutely appreciate that. It's funny how you say that, and we were speaking about it, how some parents deny their children access to quality education because many of them are not even aware or choose not to be aware or accepting of the fact that their child might actually have some sort of impairment. And so we can actually use this program to encourage our parents, to encourage our guardians to be aware that this school not only exists, but the quality of education that is here is par excellence.
You speak of the quality of education. We have been in existence since 1927, yes, celebrating our 96th anniversary later this year in terms of the end of November.
Yes.
When you speak of the denial has resulted in a lot of those children who are currently sitting at home, are currently enrolled in the inappropriate setting, so to speak, being robbed of this opportunity. Speaking of quality education that we provide here, in most years for the Caribbean examination, council examinations, our results are generally on par or in some cases above the national average. Whether you're making reference to the business subjects, right? You're making reference to the home and family management course. And of course, our children here learn how to ensure that their independence is guaranteed. They learn to manipulate the technology, computer, mobile technology as well. Of course, being able to function, mobility and orientation is what we do to ensure that they're able to function in their built environment in terms of bus travel, able to maneuver their way in the streets independently. So, of course, we're a boarding institution as well because of the fact that we're the only in the island, of course.
You have to host students who live in other
parishes. So we ensure that they're able to conduct themselves in such a way that they're able to take care of their own parents upon acquiring adulthood, upon becoming adults. So many parents I know, with the first problem being denial, is not in a position to actually even imagine their child being able to
navigate.
Let alone being able to earn such high level of economic independence to be able to take care of themselves and them. But that is something that we would have been doing for years.
And you will continue to do. We will continue to do. And we're going to talk even about the economic income because we're going to talk about your career journey and how you were able to navigate, especially in this particular society. But there was one other thing that we were conversing, off camera, and I had asked you if you were born blind or if you went blind. And
I was born blind.
You were born blind. And then my next question to you was, have you ever imagined sight? And what was your response to me?
Imagining sight is not a concern of myself nor many of my peers. Yes, we conduct ourselves in such a manner, and we continue to dominate many areas of the society with such a worldview, right? We have control over some things that includes our own economic and social empowerment, and that's what we do, right? In terms of dominating in our persons would normally do. I mean, so sight, the world of being able to see is not a concern of most of us. As a matter of fact,
It's overrated.
It's overrated.
It's overrated.
There's hardly anything we miss because as persons they want to know how this look, that look. But the truth is, the only detail that you may not be able to obtain as a blind person is, of course, colors, which is generally a figment of light, reflection. Because if I touch this chair here, and it is this board here, well, unless there's the high-hand coordination is not all together, this board would always be smooth, whether you look at it or you touch it.
Correct.
So the truth is, there's hardly any information that is necessary to lead a normal life that we are deprived of as a result of being blind.
I absolutely love that. And have you always been this self-aware, this confident, as a little boy growing up?
I know nothing else. The truth is, I tell people all the while. When I was 5 years old, my mother would have bought me my first BMX bicycle. Now, when I would ride around and go to shop and come back, persons would always be marveled. How is it that he's not pumping into anything? I didn't know why, because I knew nothing as it relates to, these persons can see it. So in the sense that I did not know that there was anything called blind or sighted or anything to that effect.
So you did what you had to do.
I did what I had to do, and I still do what I must today. You see, my motto is really, if it has to be done, it will be.
All right,
Yes?
I like that. So let us get into your journey, because you are the guidance counselor here.
Right.
You attended the Salvation Army School for the Blind.
That's correct.
Calabar High School from grade 7 to 13.
That's
then
correct.
University of the West Indies, bachelor's and master's degree in social work.
That's correct.
So talk to me a bit about your journey, even your choice in what you wanted to do, social work, and at any point in time, did your blindness even influence, I don't think it did, but did it influence your approach to the work and problem solving?
My blindness has always been an opportunity to prove more than anything else. Yes? So even while I was on campus, university that is, and the entire approach concerning group work, and of course, notwithstanding the university being the university, but persons, there was always some amount of apprehension from the ignorant as it relates to what could this person contribute to the group.
Correct.
I would have ensured many times that I would have, instead of being a participant in the group, I would have led.
Hi.
Yes? So because of the expectation or because of the perception that this person might not be, this was an opportunity for me to ensure that you understand in no uncertain term that this person could and did. Yes? And as we always ensure that both our current students and the persons who were here in my time, as we ensure that they know, is that our lives are really ambassadorial, if you will, in the sense that what we do, my actions in anywhere, it is what will determine who else gets the opportunity subsequent to me.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because it's based on my track record that you'll say, me never know same can do this, me never know blind persons can do that.
So you'll be a point of reference.
Right. So because we are always a point of reference for the first person who meet us, or the first person who engage us in whatever sphere, it is always an opportunity to debunk any myth that exists.
I love that. And talk to me about social work. Was that always what you wanted to do, or did you fall in love with it? What was the
Social work,
influence?
the truth is, being here, well, I attended my primary, because here we operate what we call a composite school, in that we are primary, secondary, and of course early childhood. So while being here, I was always impressed by the work of the guidance counselor. Having matriculated to Calabar, I was similarly impressed and influenced by the work of the guidance counselor. So when I was in grade 13, one of my other blind colleague, my senior, who was already at the university at the time, brought one of the application form to me and said, since it is that you have a desire for working with people, working with youths, then this may be your opportunity. Complete the form, take it back, do your interview. I have done so, and here I am today.
I love it. No, you said, for example, your blindness, where some people might see blindness as a disability or an impairment, you see opportunity. Talk to me or share some examples about how you approach your work, especially with the kind of worldview that you have, and understanding to what your peers might be going through. How do you approach your work?
My work here, right, separate from the usual guidance counseling classes and individual counseling with students, one of the aspects of my job that I relish, yes, is that which allows me to have dialogue with a parent whose child would have recently lost his or her sight and is apprehensive about what their future might be. I relish the opportunity to sit with that parent and say, look, this is what your child can become. Yes? Of course, having a disability, many parents don't have any perspective of quote-unquote future. So I love the opportunity that I get to sit with these parents. I said, don't play with the child's education opportunity.
Yes.
Right? Because we have many persons in Jamaica who have made their mark in terms of national development. Right? And of course, your child can become one such.
Yes.
Right? Your child is able to come and assist you. You have situations in which we know that the socio-economic landscape of persons in this country, many persons are not financially endowed, not persons with money. We relish the opportunity to ensure that these parents know that, look, this child might be your ticket out of quote-unquote poverty. Yes? So that's the
opportunity.
Yes, I love that opportunity.
The Disability Act came into effect about a year ago, February 14.
February 14, last year.
In fact, I tell people that I do not celebrate Valentine's Day on February 14, but rather I observe and I try to advocate for that day being Disabilities Act. That being said, you sit here as extremely outspoken, definitely a community builder, very educated as well as exposed. What kind of advice do you have for employers as we are trying to create a more inclusive community, society, nation, culture? What kind of advice would you give to employers and colleagues on creating such an inclusive community?
Separate and apart from the fact that the Disabilities Act mandates, right? When I say mandate, in terms of ensuring that the environment is one that is inclusive. But apart from the mandatory spirit of it, we should know, as in terms of employers, should know, take an approach that says, let me try and find out, let me ask, let me inquire.
Let me dive deeper.
Yes, the information is here. Many of us, right, are willing to assist. Individuals, of course, you also have the umbrella organizations in terms of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities and, of course, Combined Disabilities Association and many other groups willing to assist. So just an inquiring mind will possibly make your business become one that is not only inclusive, but is more profitable. Why?
Good business.
Because of the need for us to ensure that we prove, yes?
Yes.
The productivity level among our communities is generally higher. Many persons don't know that. But the productivity level among our community, persons who are employed, is generally high.
Yes.
Because there's a need to ensure that
High performance.
you know that we can.
And that we will dominate.
Right.
And we will over-deliver.
And we have been. Right.
I love that. You mentioned it earlier in terms of some misconceptions or stereotypes as it related to your experience in the university, correct? What do you believe are some of the most significant misconceptions or stereotypes that blind employees face? And how do we address them?
The society generally thinks with their eyes, right? So they literally ask you how you're not supposed to how you know, how you do everything that one should be. So the first perception is that, as Jamaicans would say, you're an idiot.
Yes.
Right? Because they are of the perception that even your ability to think is impacted by your eyes. Right? And that's not so. The cognitive development and the cognitive capability of most of us is generally higher than most would imagine, and that are higher than, it's not a discriminatory statement, it's a fact, but it's generally higher than a great number of a great percentage of the society. Right? Because, of course, of the need to use this mental capacity to navigate our environment. So these exercises, these mental exercises that lead us to being able to solve problems are generally in overdrive.
And let me ask you this then, because you're the guidance counselor, and of course you have the great opportunity to help mold and shape the minds, right, of the youngsters who come into contact with you. Generally, when youngsters are growing, they're discovering themselves, they're trying to figure out who they are, they're trying to become more self-aware. Yes, they're going to want to try to fit in. They're doing all of these things, but it's also compounded naturally by how society views them. Do they have the same, or do they feel the same pressure?
They will, but we try to cushion them in the sense of, not cushion them in terms of hiding them from the pressure, but quite a number of us as past students are here, so they get that opportunity to see how we navigate the external environment, right? So we try ensure that they have behavior to model. We try to ensure that they understand the need for a heightened level of assertiveness. Yes? Dominance requires assertiveness because the society is not the kindest.
Give you a blind.
Yes,
They're not going to give you a blind.
You mentioned blind. Nothing that we in this community have ever achieved has been quote unquote handed to us. The Disabilities Act that would have been effected, that would have come into effect 2022, is something that would have been led by us since 2003, 2002, way before the policy had existed. Yes, credit must be given to persons like Senator Floyd Morris and other of my senior blind colleagues before me who would have played a major role in even bringing the government awareness to the need for such a legislation. Right? So our students get the chance to model our behavior. The All Students Association of the school has an active alumni, of which I'm also a part. So they get the chance to see us. We bring them, we guarantee that they have as much exposure to the external world as may be necessary, or integrated program, right?
I think as I hear you speak, I don't mean to cut you, I think as you speak, what it brings to mind is mentorship. It is the fact that they get to live and breathe and hear and touch and network with people who are not just saying do something, but are actually doing it themselves. And that kind of mentorship is just invaluable.
And to this extent, our integrated program is also key, because long before the Ministry of Education themselves have been talking about inclusive education, having persons in schools, the School for the Blind has had an integrated program in which blind and visually impaired students, subsequent to completing their primary exit profile or whatever external, internal examination exists at the grade 6 level, they matriculate to these traditional schools. Calabar, right, would have been among the first, and Excelsior would have been among the first. For the past 50 years, would have been working with blind and visually impaired students in the regular classroom. Because some persons are of the view that one of the things that they ask me, so when they go to Calabar, when they go to you, are you in a different classroom? No, we're in the same classroom coming first. Yes? 2 of my students who are currently enrolled at Calabar in grade 8 would have come first and second, are currently on the principal's honor roll. Right? So they get this experience of having persons like us around in here, but then they go on the road
and they
in the general society, integrate
and
fully, dominate, right? Becoming leaders, student council presidents, all those things in the general school population where they are enrolled. So this is the opportunity given to them. This is how we design our program to ensure that our students are fully functional.
Mr. Harvey, is it too late for me to enroll in your school? And for you to be my guidance counselor, is it too late? Is it too late for me?
It's not at all. You can reincarnate as well.
My final question to you, and you know, I'm grateful for these opportunities, because I think a lot of the times we walk around and we have conscious bias and we have unconscious bias, and sometimes we're not even aware, even the language that we use and the perspectives we have when it comes to other people. So I do not take this conversation that we're having for granted. My final question to you, can you share a personal accomplishment or achievement that you are particularly proud of? Whether it has to do with the school for the blind, whether it's personal, just anything that you have accomplished.
The truth is, while I would have accomplished quite a number of feat throughout my time, both in academia and here, but twin with my the whole thing where my students graduate from here and they are in university or they are pursuing a vocation of their choice. Apart from that, but my role as an adjunct acting with a person, with a blind and visually impaired person, a person from the community of persons with disabilities who will form among your core clientele as well, right? So
you have to shape.
Yes.
You
So what it does for me on an ongoing basis to debunk. You would have spoken of the conscious or unconscious biases, but my daily interaction with these persons, debunking these conscious or unconscious biases on a daily basis is what gives me the greatest sense of accomplishment.
Well, my dear Mr. Harvey, I am going to go and I'm going to enroll. I want you as my guidance counselor. I had the opportunity of visiting 2 weeks ago. I came down here and I met some of the bravest, smartest kids ever, understood about the integration, understood about the collaboration between other schools, and just the manner in which the entire school is kept, the beauty of the murals, the beauty of the classrooms. And I said, it is very easy for someone to think, well, if the students here can't see, why you have to go through all of this to ensure that the place is this immaculate, this impeccable, this beautiful. And the answer is just that your excellence is unconditional. It is unconditional. It is not predicated by anything external, but rather internal. And I am grateful that you are a living example, a shining example, among others, but that you are able to every single day, in your words, be that ambassador to show not just your blind colleagues and of course the youngsters coming up that this is possible and more beyond is there for you, but to allow society to realize that you're not just quite capable of doing things, but dominating.
That's correct.
Absolutely appreciated this time, and I wish you all the best in everything that you do. Would you run for Prime Minister? Let me make that my last question, because I feel like you'd get my vote, you know.
I would contribute to nation building in any way that I'm called, in which I'm called upon to do so.
Great answer. Listen, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Mr. Sir Harvey, guidance counselor here at the Salvation Army School for the Blind. Impeccable gentleman. I wish I had 2 hours, 3 hours for us to just sit on a veranda and just talk. Learned so much, and I certainly hope that you enjoyed this. This was InSights, powered by Digicel Foundation, and I've been your host, Terri-Karelle, and I'm a proud partner of this project.